Greetings, hola mundo. Hopefully you are doing well on this fine, fresh, fierce day. So the topic of today is going to be dating 101, and these are just going to be 3 tips to dating. These are 3 tips that I have for you that I abided by. Abided, as I used to. I don't date anymore. I'm partnered. Anyways, going forward, so I really used to be like a serial dater. Like, I had 1, 2, 3. Not only am I a serial dater, like, was a serial dater, like, legit, like, I love cereal. Serial dater, get it? Oh, I laugh at my own jokes. I'm so funny. Going forward, though, these are going to be 3 tips that I have that you should really abide by. Sorry, I'm looking over my shoulder. This is the second time I'm filming this video because my partner was like sneaking up on me on the last one, and he was naked, and I was like, obviously I can't use this on YouTube because they will Wakanda. Sorry, they will remove it. So anyways, going forward, tip number 3 is kind of decide what you want. If you want to be a hoe, be a hoe. If you don't want to date, you don't have to date. If you want to be single, you can be single. These are your choices that you are making. And I think really it's important before trying to date or trying to get to know someone that you really have to know who you are and really make, I don't want to say that connection, but yeah, I guess that is what I'm looking for, that connection with yourself. You know, don't slut shame. If people want to embrace their sexuality, then hey, do it. But you kind of really have to also know your negotiables and your non-negotiables. For instance, is having pineapple and jalapenos on your pepperoni pizza, like that's a non-negotiable for me. Like, I have to have that now. It's mandatory. Mandatory. So, negotiables, right? I mean, those are just some things. I know, like, early on when I started like initially dating, it was like, oh well, you know, you have to be X tall, and you know, these are required. Like, I legit had like 3 requirements, and I know my friend like Kat will know what those were, because I was crazy. It was like those were my non-negotiables back then. Oh my gosh, Kat, what were they? I was like, I think you had to have like a certain belt size too. Oh my gosh, like I was a mess. I'm still a mess, but I was a far bigger mess then. So my tip number 2 is going to be, don't be afraid to make the first move. Regardless of how you identify as a breeder or as a homosexual or anywhere in the spectrum, regardless of chivalry, I think it's really important for people to take charge of their lives. And if you want something, you have to go for it. I think it's going to be also like part of, like, I personally blame Disney, because they have with every princess just about, like, where the prince will come in on his horse and save her, and you know, it'll be magical, and he's making these decisions and he's making these moves and he's doing this. So people expect someone else to do it, and they're not wanting to like take charge. Like, don't be afraid to ask someone on a date. Be like, hey, do you want to go on a date? And if they say no, they say no. And if they say yes, then you're welcome. I'm going to charge a fee for that service. But I know I can count several times, like when I used to date, that I was blunt, and they'd be like, well, do you want to hang out maybe? And I would text them back and just be like, look, like, if you want to go on a date with me, like, just say it. Gotta be blunt. And they were like, well, I'm like, this is not a date. Like, unless you say that, this is not. So if that's what you want, say it. Tip number 1, and it's going to be actually what I abide by, like, within everything else within my beliefs, is going to be open to the universe. Stay open to the universe. Open yourself up to the universe. Let yourself bloom to the universe. Sometimes it's not about looks. I mean, most of the time. It's okay if you like people at surface level, but you have to know what they're like on the inside too. Don't be afraid to try something new. Date within a different sphere, out of your social circle of friends, it's okay to do that. Really open yourself up. And when you really open yourself up to the universe and, allow, different things to happen, try dating sites. It doesn't hurt. Well, unless they charge. Then maybe I'll make a free, no, because Tinder, I think that's a dating site and they're free, I think. Anyways, I get off tangents so bad. Lord help me. That's what I actually have notes for some of these videos. I'm just But anyways, going forward, just really keep yourself open to the universe, because so many things can happen. There's so many opportunities out there. And when you really limit yourself, and yes, you should know what you want, but if you're telling, oh, they have to be 6'2", oh, they have to be a certain ethnicity, oh, they have to be in a certain financial bracket, oh, their credit score has to be, 720 or above, oh, it really limits the possibilities. And don't be afraid to just embrace life. Don't be afraid to live life. While yes, it's great to date, don't be afraid to live in the moment. Don't forget to live in the moment. But what are some dating tips that you have for everyone else? Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, reactions, feel free to share. Thank you so much for your time. Hope you have a fierce and heavenly day. Bye. Oh.